Hello, my name's Ben.
And my name's Josh.
And welcome back to FPL Graduates and welcome back to another Transfer Targets. We're getting ever closer to Game Week 16 and we're getting ever closer to the World Cup and unlimited transfers. So we're here to tell you about our transfer targets before that World Cup happens.
Yeah, just 4 games to go until the World Cup. So this is going to be a little run-in, as they say. And yeah, we're looking forward to it. So let's get those FPL points on the board.
Okay, so we're starting off with a potential bang in Trent AlexanderArnold, and he hasn't performed too well this season. But Liverpool, over the last couple of weeks, has started to click into gear just a little bit more than usual. And with Nottingham Forest away, Leeds at home, and Southampton at home in the 4 games before the World Cup, we think Trent AlexanderArnold could really excel in these upcoming game weeks.
Yeah, Liverpool is still yet to lose at Anfield this season. So 2 home fixtures against reasonably good opposition as well. It looks really good for Trent. Nottingham Forest as well is like a cherry pick fixture. If you could play anyone in the league right now, I'm sure Forest would be up there. What is disappointing though with Trent is his goal involvement. It's definitely not as high as what it was last season, but I think we're seeing a little bit of a rejig of system for Klopp and Liverpool. So that might be one of the changes that sees Trent maybe get less involved, but we might see him get more involved going forward.
Yeah, I think FPL managers also have to bear in mind the fact that they may have to drop down one of their midfielders to bring Trent AlexanderArnold in. So if you're looking at your wild card or your free transfers at the moment, you may have to sacrifice someone like a Bukayo Saka over the next couple of weeks to get this guy in, because he is 7.2 million. It is still quite a lot, and it is in that same bracket as the Wilfried Zaha's, the Bukayo Saka's, even the Phil Fodens. You may have to sacrifice to bring this guy in, dependent on your squad.
Next up is another defender, and it's Arsenal's Ben White. Coming in at 4.5 million is an absolute bargain. Obviously, Arsenal being one of the best sides this season. Clean sheets as well. 5 clean sheets in 10 games. 50% clean sheet record is really good. Obviously, Arsenal did play some of the easiest sides in the league to start the season. Let's not get it twisted. Some still good fixtures, though, coming up. Southampton away, Forest at home. I'd argue that they should be keeping clean sheets in both of those games. Chelsea away will be an interesting fixture now Potter's there. I think he makes Chelsea a much different outfit compared to when Tuchel was. And then Wolves away. Wolves really struggled to score goals. I think they're one of the lowest scoring sides so far this season. So I think realistically you could get 3 clean sheets out of 4, Ben.
Yeah, Ben White is a guy that I'm seriously considering bringing into my own team this week. And his XA is much better than the likes of Gabriel and Saliba at centre-back, which a lot of FPL managers have gone for. And his touches inside the final third is much superior as well. So he's got a lot higher expected goal involvements compared to those other defenders. And he is at that cut price, 4.5 million. I'm seriously considering it. I think it's more than likely that he may be in my team come game week 13. And I definitely think you should consider that too, because at that price point, in the form that he's in, I think it's a pretty sort of solid and safe transfer to make.
Yeah, one thing though to remember with Ben White, he's obviously playing at right back, which means he is getting forward like Ben mentioned, but it also means that he could be a rotation risk with Tomiyasu. Obviously, Arsenal involved in Europa League as well, so it all depends whether they think, the Europa League's more important or the league's more important. They're quite easy fixtures in the league, obviously the next 2, so that we might see some rotation, but I wouldn't be too hasty.
Yeah, I know Josh said about Europe, but they have qualified already. They've qualified already. So Ben White has sort of, he's performed the best, in my opinion, out of those sort of Arsenal defenders in general, really. He's been really, really good at right back. So I'm erring on the side of maybe Arteta focuses on that league, and maybe Ben White does get those extra appearances over Tomiyasu. Okay, so next up, we've got yet another Arsenal player. We're very much highly recommending bringing in those Arsenal players, bringing them back into your team, because their fixtures coming up are very decent. And I do think Saka has the potential to haul in 2 out of these next 4 games. He took a little bit of a knock midweek, but it's confirmed that Saka is absolutely fine. It was nothing to worry about at all. And if Martinelli's not scoring and getting the hauls, it's actually Bukayo Saka who's getting those hauls as well. I think he's a really, really decent option. 7.9 million. Again, we're talking yet again about the £8 million bracket midfielders. It's worth having space for 2 of these guys in your team at the moment. So, yeah, Saka is a really, really good option.
Yeah, obviously a lot of hype. I feel like he's gone under the radar this season a little bit, with Martinelli being a lot cheaper than him. But I think you could easily have both of them in your squad and it not really affect you too much in terms if they both blank. I don't expect them to both to blank either. And like Ben said, 3 of those 4 fixtures are really good, as we were talking about with Ben White. He's got loads of goal involvements as well. 9 goal involvements in 10 fixtures. Really good. He's on penalties as well. I don't know if people remember last season, but he went to Stamford Bridge, scored a last-minute penalty there as well. So that would be a real big draw for me personally with Bukayo Saka. We've seen how hard goals are to come in the last couple of game weeks, but the likes of Mitrovic scoring penalties really, really helped out your scores. And, for a midfielder to be on penalties, it's even better because they get 5 points for every goal they score. So really, really good option. So next up, and it's been the biggest debate in the FPL community, I think, in this short little break between game weeks, is whether to go with Phil Foden or to go with Bukayo Saka. So Phil Foden, again, City have really, really nice fixtures. Brighton at home, although Brighton are a tough outfit, I think because it's at the Etihad, you'd probably put your money on City winning there. Leicester away, Fulham home, and Brentford at home, all really tasty fixtures. Foden, though, 6 goals, more goals than Saka, less assists. But I feel like with Phil Foden, Ben, his ceiling to score more points than Saka is higher. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, it's extremely high. And let's also remember, De Zerbi has only made 1 change in the last 3 games for Brighton. And he has mentioned that his team are fatigued in their pre-match press conference. So it means we could either see changes or another fatigued team sort of turn out at the Etihad. And for me, Phil Foden is a priority transfer over Bukayo Saka. He may only be 24.4% owned, but if you're in sort of even the top half of all FPL managers, he's going to be more like 60-70% expected ownership when it comes round to it. And if we're looking at the fixtures, City have fantastic fixtures. You can see Phil Foden getting some really good returns in all of those games. They're pretty much qualified for the Champions League. I think they're qualified for the last 16, but they haven't got first place yet. I think that's not confirmed yet. So we could see Phil Foden sort of in the Premier League team until the World Cup. Guardiola is going to want to make sure that he keeps ticking over and getting minutes. And City, after losing at Anfield, with a full week's rest over Brighton, he could do some serious damage. Okay, so next up, we've got a guy who has scored the same amount of goals as Gabriel Jesus, I believe, in sort of half the amount of minutes. It's Darwin Nunez, and at 8.8 million, he's dropped 0.2 million, 6.8% honed. Could be a differential shout, especially with sort of the fixtures that they got coming up. All very decent and all very much fixtures that I think he could get a return in.
Yeah, as I mentioned when we were talking about Trent, Liverpool changed their formation a little bit. Seemed like they're playing a 4-2-3-1. Nunez is spearheading that attack, and we saw the damage that Salah caused against City, and that's why a lot of people went to bring him in for that fixture against West Ham. Obviously, it wasn't fruitful as Salah was pushed quite far out wide, where this guy was getting all the chances. His XG numbers are absolutely through the roof. They're like almost matching Haaland's, which is really good. Obviously, he got subbed off early in that fixture against West Ham at 57 minutes with a hamstring problem. Klopp's hinted that he's had treatment for it, so it's like touch and go. So whether you want to maybe wait out the Forest fixture, it's totally up to you. Obviously, the Hull potential in that fixture is higher. So, it's going to be one of those 50-50 decisions. But I think even still, throughout that fixture run, he could be a very, very good option. And like Ben mentioned, equal Jesus for attacking returns. I think the thing that puts people off the most might be that £8.8 million price tag.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an expensive price tag, but we also got to remember, if Darwin is playing, it increases the Hull potential, Trent AlexanderArnold and Andy Robertson significantly, because Darwin, he's got really good aerial threat. As we saw last game week, he scored that fantastic header, and we can easily see that being replicated. Robertson and Trent have excellent delivery, so we could see this £8.8 million striker really affecting those £7 million defenders. Okay, so that rounds up our transfer targets for this week ahead of game week 13. What do you think of our transfer targets? Is there anyone we've missed out? I'm sure there's a couple of players that you're looking to bring in from that list.
Yeah, if you haven't already as well, check us out on all the socials down below. You can just see them there. And thanks for watching.
Yeah, remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the FPL Graduates. And as per usual, I've been Ben.
I've been Josh.
And we'll see you guys
later. Have a good game week, everyone.